afternoon. My name is Alecia Martz, and today I am here to discuss with you my final presentation for AAA, Advanced Academic Achievement. This semester, being spring of 2018, I took a course called Advancing Academic Achievement. It has been the best decision I have ever made. It has allowed me to rewire the way I think about taking tests, studying, and just being successful in college all around. So for our final, I decided to choose option number 1, being one student's story. So today, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about Alecia's story. This semester, we had an assignment called Do One Thing Different this week. The basis of this assignment was there's a section in the on-course book that we use for the class called Do One Thing Different. In this text, there is different sections being reading, taking notes, organizing study material, rehearsing and memorizing study material, and writing. And each of these sections has different pieces to it. And these different pieces are supposed to help you enhance the way you do each of these different sections. Now, I started doing this assignment right away because I was like, I need to hop on it and I need to make sure that this assignment gets done. As I was doing the assignment, I realized all of these sections are working so wonderfully in all of my classes. So what I decided to go ahead and do is I was having a difficulty in one of my classes. This class was English 122. Let me give you a little backstory. I had not been in school for about 10 years when I signed up for this course. This course is a second level course, meaning you had to take English 121 and then go on to English 122. So in this course, excellence was expected, as it should be in any course. I found out that there was going to be a lot of things that I needed to know that I didn't already know. Things such as comma usage, apostrophes, colons, a lot of punctuation issues that I was going to need to make sure I understood what was going on. So I had the choice. I either could drop the class and take it another time, but I needed it to get my degree, or I could buckle down and I could just face it head on and be successful. My choice was to face it on and be successful. I knew it was going to be hard work, but I knew that I could succeed with the right tools. That's when on-course comes in. So the Do One Thing Different this week, I had already been working on for the assignment that we were having. And I was realizing this is working fantastic for all these courses. What I can do is I can take one of these aspects and sections and apply it each week to help me learn all of these different pieces that I'm going to need to learn. So what I did was I decided I was going to do reading, taking notes, organizing study materials, reading and memorizing study materials, and writing. And I was going to break that up into each week. I was going to do a different section, and it was going to help me focus on the information that I needed to learn to be successful for writing my essays. So week number 1 was reading. Now, if you look at all the things that I needed to learn because I didn't know, we had commas, semicolons, apostrophes, and colons. That's a lot of information if you put it all in one section. But if you break it up into different sections, it's actually really not that bad. So one of the pieces of the reading aspect was creating a distributed reading schedule. So what I did was I took Mondays, commas, Tuesdays, semicolons, Wednesdays, apostrophes, and then Thursdays, colons. And each of these different sections was about 1 page of rules that needed to be learned so that you could attribute it into your writing. So I went through each week. I went through and I did each individual one until I was able to get it programmed into my brain how I should be using this different type of punctuation. Now, my professor was absolutely wonderful. He understood that some of us may not have the knowledge that we needed, and he wanted us to be successful. So what he did was he provided us with some additional resources that I was able to go ahead and incorporate into this learning. So one of the resources is the Purdue OWL. And what that is that's an online source that allows you to look at all of the different rules of each punctuation or each piece of grammar, or simply just all of writing, and you can go through that and it has all of the information in one spot so you don't have to jump back and forth. So that's what I used to get the rules for each of all of these different punctuation. The second piece, which was huge for me, was the PPCC OWL, the Pikes Peak Community College OWL. Now what this is they have an option for online tutoring. The online tutoring is wonderful because you can ask for the type of help that you need and you can upload it, and then a person responds by email helping you with what you've asked for. These people that work in this department are wonderful. It seems like they are the masters of English, and they were able to help me and answer any questions I had about the essays that I was writing. I was so thankful for them and so thankful for my professor for giving me these resources. Now, the second piece was taking notes. Now, because I was doing all of this reading, I needed to make sure that I was outlining exactly what I was reading so I could refer back to it if I needed to. So the section I used in taking notes was take notes with an outline. If you see here, we have an outline where we have a main topic, subtopic, and then supporting facts for each one. Well, that's exactly the type of outline that I used for my different punctuation. So what I would do is for the main topic, of course, for the first one, commas, it would be commas. And then for the subtopic, I would put the rules. And then for the supporting facts, I would put examples so that I could refer back to how it was supposed to work in actual text, which worked wonderfully for me because then I was able to refer back as I was writing my paper. Now, each section I read, I made different outlines for, and those outlines were able to help me with each essay. Now, the third piece that I used was organizing my study materials. So for organizing study materials, I had to tackle the challenging subjects first. And as you can probably tell, commas were my difficult subject. There are a lot of different rules for commas and a lot of different places that you can put them. And so I needed to make sure I was on point with what I was doing. One of the first videos that my professor for English 122 put out had a statement in it that said, a comma splice can ruin a whole paper. I was like, I put in all of this work into this essay. I don't want it to be ruined by one comma. I want everyone to take me seriously, and I want my level of academic writing to be up at the top. So, as you can see, my two difficulties were the commas and the apostrophes. So those are the ones that I worked on first. I read them, I outlined them, and then I focused on them to make sure that I was going to be successful with these writings. Now, number 4, I went into rehearsing and memorizing my study materials. Now, I was memorizing these by chunks, and as you can see, this is the comma section of the Purdue OWL that I'm very familiar with because I have studied it probably 1,000,000 times at this point. It has 9 different sections, 9 different rules of what each comma can do just for this particular section. And this is the general overview. So what I did is I would start at rule number 1 and I would slowly memorize. So as I was memorizing it, once I got number 1 done, I would move to number 2. And I memorized 2 and then I go 1, 2. And then as I got number 2 done and I got number 2 memorized, I went 1, 2, 3. And then I continued down all the way through number 9. And then I had the entire thing memorized because I slowly did it by chunks. I didn't try to memorize it all at once. I did it all by chunks. And it all slowly began to work its way together, and my knowledge began to expand, and I was able to successfully write at an academic level. And finally, the last piece, number 5, was the writing. I had to learn to edit carefully. Once I was done writing that paper, I just wanted to be done. I was like, what is going on here? I don't want to read it again. But I realized there were mistakes that I could have made. I could have accidentally missed a letter while typing, and the word processing that we use sometimes just doesn't pick up words if they're different words. So I needed to make sure that what I was writing was accurate, making sure my grammar was proper, my sentences were together, and my transitions were good as well. So what I did for editing carefully, I just want to point out, for this particular course, I had to write the longest paper I've ever written in my life, being 12 pages long. I had to make sure I edited that carefully because this was a huge part of my grade, and I needed to make sure that I was successful. So what I did was I used the PPCC OWL, and I had them help me, making sure that I didn't miss anything. I also focused on reading really slow. I read each paragraph over and over to make sure that there were no words missing, no misspelling, punctuation was accurate, and that the paragraph itself actually made sense. And that's how I was able to be successful with using the writing and editing carefully. Now, the outcome of this is absolutely wonderful. The paper I just talked about, the paper that was 12 pages long, the longest one I've ever written in my life, is actually going to be published. I was able to do such great work and work so hard and use my resources so well. This paper is going to be published online. I am so proud that I was able to do that. I learned more about writing in this course than I did in 4 years of high school. I didn't give up. I tried my hardest, and because of all of that, I was successful. And I showed that I was able to do it, and I was able to learn the information I needed to in order to become a better writer, as well as I'll be able to attribute that to my career. I'm going to be a social worker, and I'll need to write up lots of different essays, and it will be imperative that I use all of these skills that I learned in this course. In conclusion, success means to me that I'm going to be able to accomplish my dreams. I'm going to be able to be successful in life, and I'm going to be able to help people. What I want my story to be is, I want to set a good example for my 3-year-old daughter. She needs to know that if she sets her mind to something, she'll be able to accomplish it. I also want to change people's lives. I'm becoming a social worker so that I can help people make the best of themselves. But I need to be able to follow these tools to be successful on my own to help people. How am I going to make it there? I'm going to make it there by never giving up. This experience has taught me that if I don't give up, I can succeed, and I can do better than I ever thought that I could. I'm always going to give it my all, and I'm going to continue to dream big. I am so thankful for this AAA class because I was able to learn things that I've never learned before. I was able to think of things in a different way that I've never been able to think of. And because of this course, I was able to be successful. I would recommend this course to anybody that's coming into college, not even just been out of school for 10 years like me, anybody, because it helps you to prepare yourself to be successful, and it gives you the skills you need to make it all the way through college to get your dream career. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great rest of your day.